I'd like to call the order, the Common Council meeting on November 7th. It is 6:01 PM, and we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. And I know Mr. Galloway is a veteran, but if it's okay, we will move to Timmy Knoll to lead us in the pledge.
Aww.
The youngster.
No.
You gotta say it.
Okay, ready? We'll do it together. Ready?
Just start it.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
He's polite.
I love that.
His head's not down anymore, though. He's paying attention.
Can I do that?
Roll call. Deputy Clerk Treasurer Knoll.
Councilman Frankie,
Here.
Councilwoman Ficus,
Present.
Councilman Vincent,
Here.
Councilman Galloway,
Here.
Councilwoman Cutler,
Present.
Councilwoman West,
Here.
and Councilwoman Konechny.
Here.
All present.
Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes is presented. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. No comments, I think, on social media yet. Charity LASFA? Coalition meeting.
Hi, everybody. My name is Charity, and I am from the LaPorte Small Business Coalition, 403 Willow Bend Drive here in LaPorte. Just wanted to let everybody know that we are having our first member meeting next Monday, November 14th, at the Civic at 6 p.m. So come on out and see what the coalition, the city, and LEAP can do for you, or what you can do with us. Also wanted to let everybody know Small Business Saturday is coming up, and in addition to the Santa Parade, which the city is putting on, the coalition is working on getting some carolers to walk around downtown, hang out in the plaza, do some singing, maybe a couple other surprises we gotta get pulled together. And then, of course, the cookie walk will have to be carolers down there too. So come on out, we got a lot of stuff going on downtown this season, so come on out and see what's happening. Thanks.
Charity and the coalition meeting, what type of topics will be discussed there?
We are really just letting everybody know what the coalition is, what we stand for, and how we work with the city and LEAP as best we can, and that it's not money. We're not about getting money from the business owners. We're doing it as cheap as we can, beg, borrow, and steal, whatever we can do to get it done. Sharing each other's posts, just about teamwork. So that's really what we want to impress on everybody. It doesn't cost anything to join the coalition, except your most expensive thing, which is a little bit of your time.
But we can bring up topics such as removing the truck traffic off downtown, because we hear that from all the business owners, and continue to have that discussion.
Yeah, I plan on hitting on that a little bit, but yeah, that's definitely a topic that we're all interested in,
Thank you.
especially those businesses downtown.
Thank you. Dakota Euler, and please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Hello, Dakota Euler, 301 Pine Lake Avenue. I come before you today speaking in support of Bare Bones and their riverfront alcohol permit. Bare Bones, if you're not familiar, is located at 518 Lincoln Way. It is an extension of Burnham Brewing, which is a microbrewery in Michigan City. Bare Bones has a wide variety of foods that are creative and innovative with vegan and vegetarian options. It's quite apparent of their love for food and wanting to combine that with a great quality selection of products being produced in our area at the time. You've probably seen them catering, doing off-site events, as well as the restaurant booming for a Sunday brunch. This crazy pirate ship of a group also makes an impact in our community, supporting non-for-profits through the collective, such as LaPorte JC's Deserving Children's Shopping Tour, Boys and Girls Club of LaPorte, Dunebrook, and the Play for Jake Foundation. Just a tidbit also, the collective is also having a small business Saturday artisan market at the Civic. That is on Saturday, November 26th, from 10 to 4 with a $5 admission. Dog friendly, and the nonprofit that will be supporting is the PAC Center of LaPorte. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Standing committee reports. President Frankie.
Redevelopment Commission met on October 26th. Mr. Craig Phillips gave an update on Monroe Street design update, and there is a meeting with RDC and the bid board on November 14th in council chambers to discuss details of that, look at different things that will accommodate the project, like planners and other design concepts. Clear Lake update was given by Nick Minnick. Construction will likely begin in the spring. They'll bid that this month and award it next month. The water department put in extensions at the Monroe Manor area, and they're looking to patch where those extensions were done. And ProDrive was awarded that job with the Redevelopment Commission contributing $5,000 towards this project. And we're also looking at partial funding for a comprehensive study to help achieve major grants for road and infrastructure grant. These studies help to better assist in getting the grants. 80% of the cost of the study will be covered via another grant. And that's all I have.
Councilwoman Ficus.
Park Board met on October 19th. The board approved to expand the language in the Park Department's zero tolerance policy to include basketball and park personnel. A reminder that the 35th Annual Veterans Day ceremony will take place at the Civic Auditorium this Friday, November 11th at 10:30 a.m. The Collective Small Business Saturday Artisan Market, as Dakota said, will be held again on Saturday, November 26th at the Civic Auditorium. And then due to Mark Schreiber and Pam Carroll attending the Indiana Parks and Recreation Association Conference on the 16th, the Park Board will be meeting this Wednesday, November 9th, 4 p.m. at the Park office.
Councilman Vincent.
Wait, what was the zero tolerance policy for?
It's going to include now basketball and park personnel.
You got that, Mayor?
I walked into that one.
I didn't know carrying all the trophies after victory was a problem, so. Whoops. Councilman Vincent.
Nothing to add this evening.
Councilman Galloway.
The veteran ceremony Friday, afterwards at the VFW, they're gonna have a spaghetti lunch for, it's free for a veteran and like their spouse or one other person with the veteran. Otherwise, they have to pay for it if you're not a veteran. And it's the 35th annual. There'll be donuts and coffee down at 9:15 there also.
Councilwoman Cutler.
This month's meeting of the bid board will be Monday, November 14th at 5 p.m. at City Hall. And this month's UEA meeting will be Wednesday, November 6th at 3 p.m. for a yearly planning meeting, followed by the regular meeting at 4 p.m. at the LEAP offices. And the Alcohol Beverage Review Commission met in October and reviewed an application submitted by Bare Bones LLC. The commission approved unanimously to recommend to the City Council for approval of the application for a three-way Riverfront District alcohol permit. And it's on the agenda for tonight. That's it.
Councilwoman West.
The Fire Merit Commission met on November 2nd, and they reported that the annual performance ratings are proceeding ahead of schedule and should be done in advance of the December 10th deadline. And their next meeting will be December 7th at 6:30 at Station 1 on 18th Street.
Councilwoman Konechny.
The HPC will meet Tuesday, November 15th at 5:30 here in council chambers, and the Airport Authority will meet this Wednesday, November 9th at 5:15 at the airport.
Councilman Vincent, petition for voluntary annexation.
Honorable Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to accept a petition for a voluntary annexation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
You can read that by title.
Discussion? All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilman Vincent.
By title only this time, petition for voluntary annexation to the city of LaPorte, Indiana. Hester J.W. Mueller Revocable Trust.
And I can briefly explain that. This revocable trust owns two parcels that are immediately adjacent to the city limits. One parcel is 32.74 acres. The other parcel is 1.49 acres, totaling 34.23 acres. At this time, these parcels are undeveloped. and there are no residents in the proposed annexation area. I know that this council's been through a few annexations, but the next step will be for this to be published in the newspaper, and then we'll be back in about 30 days with an introduction of an ordinance along either that day or at the next council would be a fiscal plan as well for this property.
Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on the voluntary annexation? Anybody from the public? Comments from council? Hearing none, we'll move forward then, 30 days.
Yep, this will be published. I'll work with the clerk treasurer's office to get this published in the newspaper.
Council President Frankie, petition for voluntary annexation.
I move to read a petition for voluntary annexation into the city of LaPorte, Indiana by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? President Frankie.
Petition for voluntary annexation into the city of LaPorte, Indiana, the Cemetery Pine Lake Association, Midwest Like Kind Exchange Incorporated, and Edward J. Lanuski and Carol A. Lanuski.
So again, a similar voluntary annexation.
Yes.
Attorney Otis?
Again, these are petitions, so the council, just like the previous one, is accepting this petition today, and then we'll begin the process of getting this published. Two parcels here are owned by Pine Lake Cemetery on the north side of Severs Road. So Severs Road right now is the northern limit of the city. And then Midwest Like Kind Exchange owns the parcel that is on the northeast side of Severs and Johnson, or Severs, Johnson, and 35 across from Family Express. And then the Lineskis, this is approximately a 9-acre parcel north of that.
Anybody from the public that would like to speak on this? Anybody from the public? This is a very long process, so there will be other opportunities. Is there any comment from the council?
Obviously, these are all voluntary annexations. The mayor and Craig Phillips and others at the city have worked with these owners and on plans for future development, and we think we have a great story to tell them. Is that right, Mayor? I don't know if you have anything to add.
It's an opportunity for the future of our community, and, you know, as you head north, 39 North, and this is the Pine Lake area, and, you know, it's been great partnering, and there seems to be excitement as a part of this, so.
These parcels are already attached to city infrastructure, right?
They are adjacent to city infrastructure, correct, yep. So most likely when we come back for the introduction of the ordinance, there'll be agreements with them about infrastructure, making sure that it's available. Take like the Midwest Like Kind Exchange, the parcel that's right on Severs and 35 there. It's kind of has a bluff, overlooks the lake. I know that the owner is looking at different, what can I do with this? Could it be a restaurant? Could it be something else? So you don't want to make a promise to them that, oh, we'll put in this infrastructure if that's not the appropriate infrastructure for the development. So it'll definitely be accessible to their property line, and then work with them in the future, Mr. Cook, obviously, on development of those.
And Craig Phillips has been lead on this and has worked extremely hard. Craig, I don't know if you have anything to add?
No, we'll have a lot more information when the actual ordinance gets introduced. We'll make sure we have maps and other things that accompany the petition as well, present to you, so you understand exactly what you're doing.
Further comments from council? This will as well move 30 days down the road. Councilman Vincent, second and final reading.
Honorable Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for a second and final reading of an ordinance by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilman Vincent.
An ordinance establishing stop signs at both northbound and southbound on Whispering Boulevard at its intersection with Allison Lane and at its intersection with Ohio Street.
Would either Councilwoman Ficus like to speak to this or Councilman Vincent, just as a reminder?
I think you previously
Just-
spoke on it, but.
Yeah, at the last meeting, like I said, Whispering Boulevard now connects with Ohio Street, and so there's just need for stop signs to, slow traffic, so basically safety.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on this? Anybody from the public? Council comments? All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. From a safety perspective, that's great. Councilwoman Ficus, second and final reading.
Your Honor, I move to read an ordinance for the second time by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilwoman Ficus.
An ordinance establishing a stop sign on Lakeshore Drive at the intersection of Greenleaf and Illinois Avenue.
And again, this was,
Like I said before, the intersection Illinois comes in on Greenleaf and Lakeshore, so it's actually on Lakeshore Drive that the stop sign would be placed. And it is a confusing intersection.
do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on this? Council comments? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Councilman Galloway, introduction of an ordinance.
Your Honor, I'd like to introduce an ordinance in its entirety.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilman Galloway.
An ordinance approving 2023 budget for the City of LaPorte Water Department. Whereas the Water Department has submitted its proposed budget for the year 2023, and whereas the said budget is subject to approval by the Common Council of the City of LaPorte, and whereas the Common Council of the City of LaPorte determines that said budget be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the Common Council of the City of LaPorte, Indiana as follows. Section 1, that the budget as submitted by the Water Department for the year 2023 be and is hereby approved as submitted. Section 2, this ordinance shall be in full force and in effect upon its passage, approval by the mayor, and publication as provided by law.
So as you can see, this is the 2023 budget for the Water Department. Comments from council? Hearing none, this will move on to the second meeting in November, which is November
21.
Thank you, the 21st. Councilwoman West.
Your Honor, I move to introduce an ordinance read for the first time in its entirety.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, Councilwoman West.
An ordinance approving 2023 budget for the City of LaPorte wastewater stormwater department. Whereas the wastewater stormwater department has submitted its proposed budget for the year 2023, and whereas the said budget is subject to approval by the Common Council of the City of LaPorte, and whereas the Common Council of the City of LaPorte determines that said budget be approved, now therefore be it ordained by the Common Council of the City of LaPorte, Indiana, as follows. Section 1, that the budget as submitted by the wastewater stormwater department for the year 2023 be and is hereby approved as submitted. Section 2, this ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon its passage, approval by the mayor, and publication as it is provided by law. End of ordinance.
So again, this is just the wastewater budget for 2023. Council comments? Hearing none, this will also move to the November 21st meeting. Council President Frankie.
Your Honor, I move to introduce an ordinance read in its entirety for the first time.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Council President Frankie.
An ordinance establishing opioid fund unrestricted. Whereas the city of LaPorte has been notified of its pending receipt of certain funds as a participating political subdivision from a national settlement with Johnson & Johnson, AmerisourceBergen, Cardinal Health, and McKesson relating to the opioid prescription and addiction. And whereas a separate fund is necessary to properly account for the receipts and disbursements of monies received from such settlement. Now therefore be it, and it is hereby ordained by the Common Council of the City of LaPorte, Indiana, that a new section 1.100 is hereby added to the Municipal Code of the City of LaPorte, Indiana as follows. 1.100 Opioid Settlement Fund Unrestricted. Section 1.98.010 established that there is hereby established a special fund known as Opioid Settlement Fund Unrestricted, Fund 2256. Section 2, 1.98.020 Contributions. The contributions to the fund shall be the unrestricted portion of opioid settlement funds received from the state of Indiana by the town as a participating political subdivision from a national settlement with Johnson & Johnson, AmerisourceBergen, Cardinal Health, and McKesson. Section 3, 1.98.030, use of funds, that expenditures may be made from the fund by appropriation by the Common Council of the City of LaPorte for any purpose approved by the Common Council of the City of LaPorte. Section 4, 1.98.040, termination, that this fund shall be a perpetual fund until terminated by future ordinance, and any funds remaining at the time of termination shall be returned to general fund of the City of LaPorte. End of ordinance.
Discussion. I'd let Mr. Otis can talk a little bit about how this developed.
All of the, all the communities in the state of Indiana are participating in this. This is a $507 million opioid settlement for the entire state, so I don't believe we know the exact amount we will be receiving yet, but there's two accounts that the city is required to set up, the one that Mr. Frankie just read, and then the second one that's coming up right now. But these two funds will receipt the funds from the state of Indiana from these settlements.
And so this is something unique, and I'll tell you what, when it comes to drug trafficking, we have no mercy. At least I have no mercy. You guys have been very supportive. We have a department, a police department that's very focused on making life difficult on those that don't want to follow the rules. But we also do have a problem with those addicted. And right now, when you look across LaPorte, trying to find locations, beds for potential inpatient, you know, I just was meeting with someone today, trying to find transportation to Terre Haute, you know, and I think we have to look at this opportunity as something special. We have some inventory of buildings that we could work, and I've had conversation with some surrounding mayors about let's do something unique, put our funds together, and maybe we can do something in LaPorte. But we have to help people get it back on the right track. When you see fentanyl and you see really not much help at the federal level, we're going to keep fentanyl out of our community and do our best and fight that. But we also have to get those individuals help that are addicted, where putting them in prison and jail doesn't solve the problem. And we can't, like I said, put them in jail to try to improve the situation. The traffickers, we're on them every day. But this is a real opportunity to work together with some other communities and do something special for those in need, those that have families, and so forth. So any questions? Hearing none, we'll move that forward for the second meeting in November. Councilwoman Konechny.
Your Honor, I'd like to introduce an ordinance read for the first time in its entirety.
Second.
This one can be read just by title only since
It's
virtually
verbatim, besides a fund number
Correct,
from
yeah.
Tim's. So an ordinance, I'll wait.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't get the okay. Sorry.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilwoman Konechny.
An ordinance establishing opioid fund restricted.
And just as it's more obviously a restricted account's more specific as to the uses, it will be very specific as to addressing opioid issues here in the community, as the mayor brought up. The approval, I know the mayor's got ideas, but ultimately approval rests with the council on where these funds are used.
And again, there's an opportunity, 30% can be used, I think, to anything you want to do. My hope would be that you would all consider 100% use for the opioid situation and then partner with other communities for something to make a true impact. I mean, even the town of Kingsbury, I think, receives funds, and, you know, it can't be much where they can't get an impact out of that. So this is still coming in, we're still learning about it, and this is more the bureaucracy, you got to set up the process, but it's a real opportunity. So further discussion? Hearing none, we will move that to the second meeting in November. Councilwoman Cutler.
Your Honor, I move to introduce a resolution read for the first and only time in its entirety.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilwoman Cutler.
Resolution of the Common Council of LaPorte, Indiana, approving an application for a municipal riverfront alcohol permit filed by Bare Bones LLC. Whereas Indiana Code Section 7.1-3-20, the Act, authorizes the legislative body of a city or town within the state of Indiana to designate and establish the boundaries of a municipal riverfront development project within its territorial boundaries. And whereas Section 16 of the Act allows the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission to issue a three-way, two-way, or one-way non-transferable permit to sell alcoholic beverages on premises consumption only to an applicant who is the proprietor as owner or lessee or both of a restaurant within a municipal riverfront development project funded in part with state and city money without regard to any permit quotas as required by Indiana Code Section 7.1-3-22, all in furtherance of economic development. And whereas the city of LaPorte, the city, is carrying out redevelopment activities along Lily Lake Channel, which is located within a redevelopment area known as TIF 1, established by the LaPorte Redevelopment Commission Resolution 7-2019, under the authority provided in Indiana Code Section 36-7-14, the project area. And whereas on August 28, 2019, the LaPorte Redevelopment Commission, the Commission, adopted Resolution Number 7-2019, recommended the creation of a municipal riverfront development project to encourage economic growth and development in the project area, along with local rules governing the issuance and renewal of applications for any permit authorized pursuant to the terms of the resolution. And whereas the Act authorizes the municipal riverfront development project to have boundaries of up to 3,000 feet or 6 city blocks from the waterway. And whereas the Commission has determined that the boundaries of the municipal riverfront development project should be as identified as Exhibit A attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference. And whereas on November 1st, 2021, the Common Council adopted Resolution R-18-2021, whereby the Common Council designated the area identified on Exhibit A as a municipal riverfront development project pursuant to Indiana Code Section 7.1-3-20-16 and 16.1. And whereas the Common Council thereby established the LaPorte Alcohol Beverage Review Commission, LABRC, to recommend to the Common Council and Mayor applications for alcohol permits, that the LABRC will strengthen the economic vitality of the municipal riverfront district and entire community. And whereas the LABRC has indicated that it has received an application from Bare Bones LLC dated October 6, 2022, for a three-way riverfront alcohol permit for Bare Bones LLC at 518 Lincoln Way, LaPorte, Indiana, 46350, the application, which the LABRC believed will strengthen the economic vitality of the municipal riverfront district and entire community. And whereas the LABRC has made a recommendation to the Common Council that the council approve the request of Bare Bones LLC in the application, and that the mayor certified to the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission that Bare Bones LLC has met the statutory requirements to obtain a retailer's alcohol permit for beer, wine, and liquor pursuant to the City of LaPorte's Riverfront Development Ordinance. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of LaPorte that 1, the request of Bare Bones LLC for a three-way riverfront alcohol permit at 518 Lincoln Way, LaPorte, Indiana, 46350 is hereby approved. 2, the mayor shall certify to the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission that Bare Bones LLC has met the statutory requirements to obtain a retailer's alcohol permit for beer, wine, and liquor pursuant to the City of LaPorte's Riverfront Development Ordinance. 3, Bare Bones LLC is hereby permitted to apply for a retailer's alcohol permit for beer, wine, and liquor with the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission under the City of LaPorte's Riverfront Development Ordinance. And 4, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after adoption. End of resolution.
Great work. So Bert Cook is here. He's been directly involved with this. Can give you a little more information here.
Good evening to the council. Bert Cook, Executive Director of the LaPorte Economic Advancement Partnership. So this will be the third, I believe it's the third license that we've done this year. And so I'll maybe tailor my comments to the most relevant pieces of this. And since we did one of these either at your last meeting or the previous meeting, there were a couple questions that came up then that maybe I'll try and touch on. So the process is outlined in the resolution, but we do have a committee, LABRC, the acronyms just get to me, but I think that's right, the Alcohol Beverage Review Committee, that's made up of the President of the Redevelopment Commission, that's Brian Chalik, Chief of Police, Paul Breton, Brett Benversi, who's the city representative, Laura Cutler, and then Anthony Novak is the attorney that represents that group. So they hear any applications for use of this program, and then they make a recommendation to you all, the council, for either approval or disapproval, and we act accordingly from there. Those individuals, have been part of those discussions, and I think Laura would agree. They have some, they process a lot of information as to what issuing that license would do for our community, how it helps achieve the goals that we're ultimately trying to achieve here, and turn down those applications that maybe don't meet the criteria that we're looking for. And there's a number of things that are spelled out in that process. The ones that stand out to me is, focus on the dining experience. So this is not a program for bars. And that dining experience is, aligns with the strategy that you all, our redevelopment commission, our urban enterprise zone, have implemented into, how we try and draw new development into our downtown. So the project that we're discussing today, Bare Bones, many of us are familiar with. I think it's absolutely a testament to partnership. You have three groups, the City Council here, the Urban Enterprise Association, and the Redevelopment Commission that have all partnered together in some form or fashion to help make that project a reality. Furthering on the idea of partnership, Blake Murray's here. We've worked with Blake for a number of years. I will tell you, from the moment we started working with him and his team, they have fulfilled every promise that they've made to the city. Bare Bones is a terrific addition to our downtown. We hear people all the time compliment the food that's there, the experience that surrounds that establishment, and that's due to the hard work of Blake and his entire team. So approving this request will allow them to go from a two-way license, which they currently possess, to a three-way license. And as you probably saw in your application, Blake commented that it adds to their dining experience. They spend a great deal of time crafting their menu, and that's something I think our community greatly appreciates. And being able to work cocktails into that menu, I think will be a great addition to their restaurant. I think I've covered, sort of my comments. I'm sure if you have questions for Blake, he'd be more than willing to answer those. If you have process questions, either myself, I'm sure Nick Otis would be willing to weigh in on those as well.
Questions for Mr. Cook? I'd just like to add, we're fortunate to have Bare Bones and the leadership that Blake provides. It's a great option downtown. In fact, I think I saw a councilwoman last night or yesterday afternoon dining outdoors, and the public loves it. It's great support, and we're very fortunate. So thanks to Blake and his team for his commitment to the community.
Yeah, maybe one more thing that I would add, if I may. The question at the last meeting was asked, how many licenses? I think the genesis of the question was, has the program worked? I think the fact that we can bring these opportunities to you on a regular basis highlights that it has been successful and it'll continue to be successful. And we'll hope that that development continues in our downtown, because I think anyone would agree that our downtown is a much different place today than it was even just 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a resolution. It can pass this evening. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on this? Anybody from the public? Again, I thought I saw Timmy. Sorry, Tim.
Oh, jeez.
All right. Comments from the council?
Amazing.
So I do have a motion and a second. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations and thank you. Councilwoman Ficus.
Your Honor, I move to introduce a resolution read for the first and only time in its entirety.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilwoman Ficus.
Resolution to transfer funds within the 2022 budgets. Whereas there are additional monies needed in certain line items in the 2022 budgets in order to pay for essential services and obligations. Now therefore be it, and it is hereby resolved by the Common Council of the City of LaPorte, Indiana, that the following transfers be made within the following budgets for the year 2022. General Fund Fire, 1101-362. From 111 salaries to 221 operating supplies, $10,000. From salaries 111 to 231 repairs maintenance, $2,000. From 111 salaries to 241 other supplies, $8,000. From 111 salaries to 361 repairs maintenance, $8,000. From 124 pension to 361 repairs maintenance, $10,000. From 124 pension to 131 clothing allowance, $4,000. From 211 office supplies to 315 professional services, $1,200. From 321 communication transportation to 231 repairs maintenance, $3,000. From 321 communication transportation to 131 clothing allowance, $1,000. From 351 utilities to 131, clothing allowance, $4,000. From 351 utilities to 231 repairs maintenance, $2,000. From 391 other services to 131 clothing allowance, $500. Police, 1101-370, from 111 salaries to 131 clothing allowance, $8,800. From 111 salaries to 221 operating supplies, $10,000. From 111 salaries to 241 other supplies, $10,000. From 111 salaries to 391 other services, $10,000. MVH 2201-524, from 111 salaries to 351 utilities, $3,000. From 111 salaries to 451.015 MVH restricted paving, $17,000. CEDAT, City Planner, 2209-103, from 331 printing advertising to 315 professional services, $1,000. From 391 other services to 315 professional services, $1,500. End of resolution.
So these are normal transfers that happen as year-end quickly comes our way. Again, this is a resolution, so it can pass this evening. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Anybody from the public that would like to speak on these items? Anybody from the public? Hearing none. Any comments from the council? So I do have a motion and a second. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. A couple of comments. Let's see, and I did have one here. Recycling and garbage tomorrow. What about it? Yes. Yes. Oh, it will be happening, so yes. The fall pickup will be on your normal day, so. On your normal day of pickup. So you're thinking they're not going to pick up during Election Day?
Our trash definitely will. I can't speak for
Yes.
recycling since that's a county function,
Right.
but
Yeah, it's not a holiday.
they're privately contracted, even the county recycling, so I think is that Lake Shore? Yeah.
Personally, I'm not so worried about even recycling, it's the trash pickup, because
Yeah, trash will continue on.
Trash.
Yep.
So a couple other points if you haven't seen, and thank you to your support. Boyd Boulevard, the portion from Ohio to Jefferson, is going to be lined tomorrow and will be ready to go. It's the second worst road in the city of LaPorte to Truesdale. That'll be done next year. So Boyd Boulevard has been done. I'd like to thank NIPSCO for their work this weekend with the high winds, and as well our fire department. While they had some wires down, they monitored that. Our police monitoring the traffic downtown on the east side. So thanks to all of them. And please, we need to pack the Civic, the Veterans Day. It's not that long to show our respect and thanks to the veterans. Please come out Friday morning, and it begins at
10:30.
10:30, and to the Civic, and then go have a bite to eat and thank a veteran in person at the VFW, and we appreciate the VFW doing that. And then tomorrow, make sure everybody goes out and votes, and really look, because after tomorrow, we really need to really focus on developing candidates that are running for the right reasons to move our communities forward, can work across the line, can work across party lines, and work together to make our communities a better place. So I'm excited for that, so don't forget to vote. And high school kids can get 2 signatures after the meeting here from council or myself. Any other comments from council members?
Yeah, our deck's finally done at the VFW, so.
Fantastic.
Of course, it's gonna probably rain Friday like they're saying, but you can get out there with an umbrella.
Absolutely. And Roger, thank you for your service.
No, you're welcome.
Absolutely.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Everybody have a great election day.